Hey guys, it's Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's video is going to be my June reading wrap up. These are the books that I have completed in the month of June. Now, to be honest with you guys, I think I've kind of sort of given up on the 52 book club prompt, the 52 book challenge prompts. There were just some prompts that I wanted to complete. The whole point of that challenge is for you to read 52 books in a year, like a book a week. But since I already read more than 52 books a year, I just wanted to complete the prompts, but I just kind of gave up. I just kind of want to read what I want to read and not worry about having to fit a specific book for a specific prompt. You know, I want to read what I want to, and that's it. So yeah, kind of given up on that. And I have not updated my A to C reading challenge. That's just a challenge in which I'm trying to read one book for each letter of the alphabet. I haven't updated it since last month, and I didn't update it this month either. So hopefully by the time I post this video, it's been updated on the description box below. So I think I have finished, I want to say I'm at 50 books, maybe, or close to 50 books for the year. My reading challenge, my reading goal is 80. I just remember that it says that I'm ahead 9 books. So I think I'm at about 50-ish. So anyway, this month I read 8 books. That seems to be my trend this year for the books that I've been reading. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've been doing a lot of other stuff other than just read. So I think it's still a good one. So let's just get started, shall we? In no particular order. I'm just going to start from the top in how they're shown on my thumbnail, because that's how I already have them here. The first book that I want to talk about is It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. This is book 7 of the Bridgerton series, second to last of the children's books. The last book is just a book of novellas. But anyway, in this book we follow Hyacinth's story, and it's a pretty straightforward romance book. Probably my least favorite out of all of them. In this book, we follow Hyacinth. She's fallen in love with this guy, and the guy hasn't been completely honest with her in regards to his background, where he comes from. And so it's a secret that, you know, if it's revealed, it could potentially disrupt their future together. So I just felt like the stakes in this book weren't as high as any other ones. Hyacinth was very reminiscent of Eloise, you know, very independent, very feminist type woman. And so at times I felt I was reading about Eloise, but it was Hyacinth that I was reading. It was okay, nothing special, nothing that will set apart this book from any of the others. I enjoyed it. I mean, I finished it, and that's all that matters. So that's what I did. I think I gave it 3 stars if I'm not mistaken. Then next I have The Secret Place by Tana French. This is the 5th book? 5th or 6th book, I can't remember. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, it's the 5th book in the Tana and the Dublin Murder Squad series, I guess you can call it. Each book follows a different detective in that murder squad in Dublin. And I kind of had given up hope in liking Tana French's books. To me, they've always just been okay, but this one I actually really enjoyed. I read this book super fast. I was really into it, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. In this book, we follow our detective, Stephen, who is a detective in the murder squad. And one day, the daughter of a senior detective that he works with comes to his office and gives him a clue to what seems to be a cold case from many years ago. This boy was found murdered in an all-girls school. And so in this school, there's this place called The Secret Place, in which people go and post like anonymous things. And so the daughter of this other detective finds something that could lead to potentially solving this crime that happened many years ago. And so he starts investigating this cold case, but now the daughter of this senior detective could potentially be involved, and there's a whole drama, a lot of mystery, a lot of suspense, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I was kind of like giving up hope on ever enjoying a Tana French book, but finally, 5th time's the charm. Well, no, I really did enjoy the first 2 books, 1 and 2, Into the Woods and the likeness. I think that's what the second one is called. But then the other two, I don't even remember the names of them. I was just kind of like, okay, I felt kind of mediocre about them, but finally it's good. The last one is The Trespasser. So hopefully that one will be good too, but this one I really did enjoy. Then next I have here Paul. This is a nonfiction book by Charles Swindoll. This is, he has a story of like Bible characters that he does like a deep analysis type on. And this past month or so at church, we were discussing the book of Ephesians, which was written by the Apostle Paul. And I was just kind of like wanting to learn more about him. And I had this in my collection. I have several of these. And I decided it would be a good time to read it. I didn't read it all in the month of June. I actually started in May. But I was trying to go along with the same pace as how we were going at church. So I could kind of like enjoy it together. And I really did enjoy it. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed the stories that Charles Swindoll describes. Really enjoyed it. I have only one right now, and I think it's Job. Job is the only one I have, but I don't have all of them. This is number 6. Job is number 7. I think I'm missing book 5, and I think that's Daniel. But I don't know. Really enjoyed it. I am excited to get into Job. I don't know when exactly I'm going to, but I did enjoy it. Then I finished a series. You guys know I have a lot of series that I've been wanting to get through, and so finally this month I was able to get through another series, and this is the, what is it called? I guess Star-Crossed series by Josephine Angelini. We have Star-Crossed, which is the first one. Then we have Dreamless, which is the second one, and the last one is Goddess. And I was afraid of going back to reading a whole series because these past few months when I've read when I've marathoned a series, I've kind of gotten bored and I struggle with it. But with this series, that didn't happen. I'm gonna put them down. Basically, in this trilogy, we follow like a modern day retelling of Helen of Troy, which is Greek mythology. So this whole series is based around Greek mythology, which I really enjoy, to be honest. Maybe that's why I didn't feel burnout or bored with this series, because I enjoyed it. I've seen the book, maybe Troy, the movie Troy is not like the best point of reference when it comes to the story of Helen of Troy, but whenever I hear the story, I think of the movie in the back of my head. So yeah, like I said, this is a modern retelling, kind of insta-lovey. It's a YA book, so there's a lot of teen angst and things like that, but I still really enjoyed it. At some point in this book, we have kind of a Jace and Clary type situation, drama going on from the Mortal Instruments. If you guys know what I'm talking about, don't spoil it for anybody. But eventually, of course, that gets resolved. But overall, it was a good book. It was a good story. Lots of action, lots of twists and turns, which weren't that like shocking to me, but it was still entertaining enough. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Once I finished this series, I found myself going back and looking up the story of Helen of Troy just so I could learn more about it. And whenever a book makes me do some research after finishing the book, that's a good thing to me in my eyes. So I really enjoyed it. If you're into Greek mythology, I recommend this series. I think it's really good. Then I also read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my 3rd book or 4th. I read the 6th, Daisy Jones, and there's another book that I've read. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank, but this is the 4th book I remember for sure. Now it's gonna drive me nuts not knowing. But anyway, this is probably my least favorite book, unfortunately. In this book we follow, hold on, I have notes here. This book takes place like in dual timelines. The main timeline per se is this one night. There's always a party going on for this one anniversary, and it's the children of this very famous artist called Mick Riva, who every certain anniversary of something, they throw a big party, and that's the current timeline. And throughout the events of the party, we follow our main character. There's a lot of characters here, but I think the one main character is Mick Riva's oldest daughter, who is kind of like telling the story, but we go back into her childhood. And even a little bit before then, we follow how Mick Riva and his then wife met when they had Mick's older daughter, and all the drama that goes on during the time when he became famous. There's a lot of trigger warnings here for toxic relationships, emotional abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, alcoholism. It's another true Hollywood story here. But yeah, as this party is going on, we go back and forth, and we see her life as a child, her life as a grown adult, and how she becomes famous herself, and then how her father falls from grace kind of in the eyes of the public and family. This book made me sad because we see the vicious cycle of abuse from passing, like generational abuse. Does that make sense? Like her mom and Mick Riva had a toxic relationship, and as she grows up, she ends up stuck in that kind of relationship herself as well. So I just was left sad. The ending was not satisfying for me. Like I said, I just felt sad for all the people involved in the story. There was nobody here that ended up in a positive note. I feel like all the siblings had issues of their own. Everybody was battling some sort of demon, and again, I think it comes from that generational trauma and the toxicity passed from one generation to another. So yeah, it's a good story, but it's just one of those that left me sad at the end. I don't know if I would recommend this one just because it has like so many like heavy themes and all the trigger warnings that I just mentioned. But yeah, that's this one. And the last book that I finished was Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. Leanne Moriarty, I've read most of her books. I never think her books are that great. However, I like her enough to want to keep reading her books. This book was no different. It was just okay, but there's something about her writing that makes me just want to keep reading her books. In this book, it's another dual timeline kind of book in which we follow, the story starts with the children of this, like the grown children of this family, looking for their mother who has gone missing. And of course, the first person of interest is the father, the husband, even though he's been denying it since the beginning that he had anything to do with her disappearance. And so as we go through the present timeline of trying to find out what happened to her, if she's even alive or dead or what happened, we have flashbacks throughout the story of their family life, and then you get little snippets here and there of things, of relationships that she had, things that happened to her that could have possibly could have possibly been the reason of her disappearance to today. So there's a lot of like sketchy things that have happened in her past that could potentially be the reason why she goes missing today, but we never get the full story. We just get like snippets in the flashbacks that we get when we eventually get to the payoff of all the secretiveness, is that a word, that we've been reading throughout in the flashbacks. It was a very like really, like that's the climax of the story. Like you made us go through all this like mystery and uneasiness about what happened to her, and like that's how I just feel like she took the easy way out. She copped out at the end and decided to just use it was like the dumbest reason why things were happening. And it was a very unsatisfying ending. It wasn't believable to me. And I'm like, I know it's a word of fiction, but at least make it believable, like it possibly could happen, you know? I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the mystery behind it. I enjoyed getting to the point of right before the climax, but when the big reveal was revealed, I was really let down. So I only gave this one 3 stars because I still enjoyed it, but just the finale wasn't for me at the end. So That is everything that I read, guys. Right now I am reading a book by Jodi Picoult, and I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of twisted because Jodi Picoult always writes about very controversial stories and topics. And so when I show you guys next month what the book is about, you guys, it might be triggering for some people. So anyway, for now, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite book of the month was in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.